The following is a project of our nonprofit newsroom. Support Midcoast Morning and local journalism today at chly.ca/donate. Local news doesn't survive without local support.
Hello and welcome again to Midcoast Morning. Filling in for Joe Pugh, I'm Jesse Woodward, Executive Producer for Midcoast Morning and Executive Director at CHLY 101.7 FM. With the lighting of the torch for the 55-plus BC Games happening this past June 19th, and with just over a month and a half until competition starts in September, today on the show I have former two-term City Councillor and Host Society President Diana Johnstone on to talk about the big event. Leann Rose Crook, Director of Participant and Volunteer Services, joins her. The 55-plus BC Games is the province's largest multi-sport and activity event, having first started as the BC Senior Games in 1988 with 650 attendees participating in 15 sports. As the BC Senior Games, it was last held in Nanaimo in 2007 before the Games were renamed in 2015. Cancelled in 2020 and 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Games returned in 2022 to Greater Victoria. Last year in 2024, Salmon Arm hosted. And now for the interview. So getting started, please introduce yourself. What do you do with the Games?
I'm Diana Johnstone, and I'm fortunate to be the president of the 55 Plus Games.
And I am Leann Rose Crook, and I am the Director of Participant and Volunteer Services.
With all that, when are the Games taking place this year?
The Games are in September from the 9th to the 13th.
And across Nanaimo, where are the Games taking place? Is there at like an Olympic village for the Games?
Yes, there's going to be accreditation at Beban Park, and that will be where the Games Village is going to be set up as well. Okay,
and so across Nanaimo, where are some of the other venues for people to play, participate, etc.? I think I saw Bowen, I saw
Benin. We're across so many. I do believe it's 20 different venues. 21 different venues. And so we are at Branch 10 at the Legion, Bowen Park Complex, Matteo Sutton Park, Beban Park, Duncan Lanes. So we'll be doing the 5-pin bowling in Duncan, Cottonwood, Fairwoods, Transfer Beach, Frank Crane, Cliff McNabb, Nanaimo Ice Center, Nanaimo Curling Club, which is
we're going to be curling out of the Parksville Club this time around, which is lovely for the participants because when they're not on the ice, they can go for a nice walk on the ocean.
Oh, perfect. So you've mentioned Duncan and Parksville in the mix. Are there any other communities that are participating?
Yes.
Yeah, so we will mostly Nanaimo, and then Duncan and Parksville are the two main ones. And what else have we got?
Ladysmith.
Okay. And so how many participants are slated to come to Nanaimo?
We are looking at 2,700 approximately people coming to play in the Games, plus, of course, their partners and friends that will be joining them and family. So a large influx of people coming into Nanaimo during this time.
Officials and referees. It's huge, Jesse. Yeah. It's probably, well, it is the largest multi-sport event that the province of British Columbia holds. And we're very fortunate that BCSGS has given us the opportunity to host these games again. Yeah. This is our second time.
And BCSGS is?
British Columbia Senior Games Society.
Right. And they're the primary organizers behind the event.
They are.
Okay. And so with all these participants coming to Nanaimo, as well as their friends, family, coaches, etc., where's everybody going to be staying?
We have got an incredible venues team that and accommodations that are preparing things all the way from hotels to campgrounds to all the different opportunities throughout this region. So we have, what have we got for an official?
Most of our hotels will be full to the brim. That game rooms that were able to be released, because most hotels hold a lot of rooms back for commercial travelers.
Right.
And our campgrounds, Jesse, this is probably the best economic driver this city sees. We're hoping that within probably at least $5 million economic impact to our city.
Right, that's a pretty significant number.
They eat in our restaurants, they sleep in our hotels and stay in our campgrounds and enjoy all of our amenities. So, it's great.
And there's even people that in the past have come and loved it so much. They've moved here, right, Di?
Yes, I know of at least 7 families that moved here after the 2007 games. They hadn't been here for many years and saw the lovely transition and how our city has just evolved into one of the most beautiful cities on the west coast of Canada. So
a bit more of a further question to that. So, some seniors have tighter budgets for travel. Are there some affordable options for where they might stay?
Well, Jesse, probably a lot of our guests would have friends and family here that they're able to stay with. And there's no regulations to where they stay. If they wanted to, try a bed and breakfast or someplace, that would be perfectly up to them. They'll go online and they'll see all the opportunities that there is for them.
Okay, perfect. So what sports are played in the 55 plus BC games?
Oh, we have 21 different sports, and Leann will bring that list up and tell you.
Yeah.
But our largest participation levels are in fastball.
Right.
Fastball, hockey.
Oh, don't forget the very important.
Yes, pickleball was sold out, or it was full within about half an hour of registration going online. It's a big one.
Yeah.
So we have 21 different sports. We have archery at the Fish and Game Club, for example, and the participants there are privileged to be able to stay in their campers there, and also equestrian at Bevan Park.
Right.
We make special allowances because they have to stay with their horses, of course, right? So Leann can go through a few more.
Just actually note on the pickleball question there, is that all going to be at the new courts at Bevan Park, or with the amount of participants, is it going to be at other courts as well?
Primarily at the new ones.
They do have a backup because it is a well-attended sport.
So you're mentioning golf.
Yeah, so we've got golf. Golf is a huge one, and that is going to be held at
Cottonwood and Fairwinds.
Tennis, track and field, swimming, table tennis, 8-ball, which was one that surprised me, and cribbage. If you're not highly active, you can still be involved in the sports, and darts.
Yeah. On the note of cribbage, I still have 14 years before I can lean on all the time I spent playing with my father when I was 12, learning math, apparently.
So it could pay off someday for you.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
In terms of what's not coming to Nanaimo this year, I noticed as a cyclist myself, a surprising lack of cycling sports in the games this year. What determines whether or not a game makes the cut?
Participation entries.
Yeah.
And we don't disqualify any sport until the very last day, on the midnight of the last day.
Right.
And then make a determination. And if we don't have a set number, because we have to have officials and set up the sites, we make a decision at that time. So we were very surprised and a little bit unhappy that the mountain biking was one of the ones we had to cut.
Yeah. And
we only had about 5 registrations for that one, which was surprising. But I think there was another big competition later in the summer or earlier in the summer that people were coming to, so they had to make a decision. And road biking was canceled because of the tragic accident that was last year when a cyclist was killed, and it was difficult to find somebody interested in sharing that. It's still a bit too
fresh.
Soon. Yeah, too fresh.
And that happened at the 55 plus games.
No, I don't believe it was 55 plus games.
Okay.
It was another sporting event.
Right.
Dragon Boat was canceled because of not lack of interest possibly, but high cost. They were very fair. The association was very fair, but it was still very, very difficult. And oftentimes with water conditions, it could be canceled because of rough water.
Right, yeah.
So that was one of the reasons, I think. So it's difficult when you have to make a decision to cancel. We were very surprised that the bocce ball was cancelled because the Kefalotti Lodge put out they were going to pay part of their entry fees and made a decision as a board to do that. But again, there's a huge tournament in bocce just following our event.
Ah, okay.
So, but disc golf, which is a demonstration sport,
okay, so that's a first this year.
Park is a first. It's called a demonstration sport, and if it, and I think we got over 50 entries for that.
We do. It's a nice big group.
Yeah.
Okay. So offhand, do you personally have any favorites as far as the games are concerned?
I'm personally excited about equestrian. I think that's going to be amazing. They've done some upgrades to some of the buildings in the area. I think that's just going to be a beautiful piece to the center of our city over at
Beban.
At Beban, yeah.
I love equestrian because I was a rider in my youth. I didn't ride English, but I was a Western competitor.
Okay.
I did a lot of gymkhana and owned horses most of my life. But it's going to be interesting. And we're really encouraging our citizens to get out and cheer people on. We have a 101-year-old swimmer. Her name is Helen, coming to compete in swimming.
Wow.
And we have a 102-year-old track and field athlete. So people should get out and cheer them on, not just for our zone. We are zone 2, but for all the zones. And for the, just because it's wonderful to see people in their older years, and it's not old when you're 55. So get out and cheer people on. Make it show the warmth of our city.
Right. So there's a real spread between 55 to 101 or 102.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
it doesn't matter what day, like any day during that time, there's going to be something going on in every corner of the city. So even if you've only got 45 minutes to spare, take a look at the website and you'll be able to see where these are playing and come and join and watch.
Yeah. And on that note, are the spectators able to participate for free? Is it free viewing or is it ticketed?
No, it's free viewing.
So as far as the games are concerned, you've noted your favorites, but like what are the crowd favorites year after year?
Well, I think... just having, as a board of directors, we were invited to Salmon Arm to witness their games and sort of job shadow your counterparts.
Yeah.
I spent most of my time with the president of the games there touring, and I saw a great deal of interest. A lot of people watching tennis, for example. There were many, many people out watching the equestrian events as well, which pleased my heart. But it's fun to see, they have carts, beautiful horses and lovely, lovely competitive riders. So other than that, it was hard to tell because a lot of the people are participants that are between games that are there as well. So they all cheer for each other.
Diana Johnstone is president of the Nanaimo 2025 55 Plus BC Games Host Society. We're talking about the 55 Plus BC Games, which are coming to Nanaimo in the fall, September 9th through 13th. Coming up, we'll continue to talk about the games with Diane and Leann Rose Crook, Director of Participant and Volunteer Services for the Games.
Midcoast Morning is part of our nonprofit newsroom project, supported by listeners like you. Keep this program on the air by funding it today with a monthly sustaining donation at chly.ca/donate. We've got tote bags and shirts if you need an incentive.
And now back to our interview, where we get into the history of the games and how listeners might participate. So switching gears a little bit, can you tell me a little bit about the history of the games? When, why, how was it started? That kind of thing?
Well, this is the 36th Games. It used to be called the BC Seniors Games, and then it evolved into the 55 Plus BC Games. And the first games were held in Vernon. And I don't have the stats in front of me for that, but a much smaller entry then. And it's grown over the years during COVID, it dropped off because I think it was 1 or 2 years that it was canceled. But Nanaimo has the largest participation since COVID. It's growing. It's gaining strength again. So
that's very good to hear.
And next year it will go to Kamloops, and hopefully it'll be even greater there.
And I wouldn't mind dropping a little plug for the opportunity for all people in the region to volunteer.
Right.
So as the participant and volunteer services director, my job is to really let people know how much fun it's going to be to get involved in the games. We're going to need about 1,200 volunteers. So such a great opportunity, no matter what you're interested in. If you're interested in equestrian, darts, hockey, pickleball, literally anything. Or maybe if you're wanting something more logistical, venues, concessions, driving, the village games. Maybe if you are an entertainer, like there's opportunities for entertainment. We've just got so many places that we can plug in amazing talent from around the region to help this be an incredible games for all the people that are coming to participate and take home the idea of what we really are all about here in Nanaimo and how we really show up and make it super special for the participants.
To me, Jessie, over the course of the years, I've been involved since 85 with games. And to me, it's that community spirit, quality of life thing that is showcased. And for, to be training future event leaders, future volunteers, because eventually, we can't. This will probably be my last games, especially the last seniors games,
right? Because
I'm an Octarian now. So the next games won't be probably hosted in Nanaimo until 2045,
right?
2043, somewhere in that area. So we need to get those wonderful people in our community that have some spare time to get out, and their children. There's no age limit. So we are encouraging scout troops, youth groups to come out, and it's a wonderful thing to have on their resume.
When I'm 55 plus, it might be back in Nanaimo by then. So.
And what would you compete in?
Oh, maybe cycling sports if they happen to be here. So,
okay.
So we've talked about quality of life a little bit. With the games coming to Nanaimo, or even prior to that, do you yourselves have a love of sport and recreation? What gets you out the door to get your blood pumping?
Yes, I do get out.
Yeah.
Walking my dog, swimming. Yesterday I was in Westwood Lake. I had a fantastic swim in that fantastic lake, and the amazing work they've done there it's a showpiece for not only BC, but I think all of Canada as a sporting facility.
Yeah.
I curl in the winter. I'm not competing because I won't have time to compete this time around, but a lot of my curling friends are competing, and I'll want to get out and watch some of their games for sure.
Yeah.
But there's so much to do in our city. Even during COVID, I don't think we felt it the same as other parts of Canada.
Agreed.
Because we could still get out in our parks and we could walk our many trails, and it was
and singing and dancing, and we still did so much of that in a space.
Yeah.
We're rarely snowed in here on the island.
We're
too,
rarely
which helps.
snowed in. Yeah.
So with, our 55 plus participants, younger viewers, spectators, volunteers, does an event like this inspire people to get active and do new things in your eyes?
Absolutely, it does. And they are demonstrating to the rest of our city how important it is to have a healthy, active lifestyle. And just a little side thing, my mother was 100 when she chose to compete in the games. They had cribbage, and she won a silver medal. Well, she still has that medal hanging on her fridge to this day. She's 106.
Wow, 106.
And she might be singing, God willing, the national anthem.
Wow, that's incredible.
She's a great singer, So we'll have to wait and see how the days go.
And in addition to active sports and getting active in our community. The other opportunity this brings for our community is sponsorship. Mm-hmm. So any kind of business that wants to be able to show up and show how they support the community, support active living. There's so many opportunities for sponsorship as well. So that's something that we are working on. We've got some fantastic ranges of interaction with our sponsorships as well. So little plug, if there's anybody out there listening and would like to sponsor the games, there's all kinds of ways that they can do that as well.
Yeah, an excellent opportunity.
Yeah, it is for sure.
So for those thinking about participating next year, you've noted that Kamloops is the host city for next year. When does registration for participation in the different sports typically open?
I do believe it was May to June. I think it's about a 6 to 8 week window where it opens up. So they can find all that information on the website. Yeah. So jumping in on the website, and they can find all those details.
Yeah. And if they're particularly keen on pickleball, they really have to be on
Get
top
on
of
it. You've got about 3 minutes from the time the door opens. So,
and they can also purchase merchandise online and take part in the 50-50 draw, which is usually pretty huge. Like last year in Kamloops, it was over $8,000. So it's well worth buying and that supports the games. We get a portion of it, and BCSGS does get half. We share half, and then the winner gets the balance.
Right. I'm surprised it's not a 55-45 draw.
That's funny.
Oh, sorry.
Good one, Jesse.
Yeah. So is there anything you'd like to add before we close?
No, I guess for as a president of the games, I just, want to put a plug in for my board of directors who have worked very hard for over a year to ensure the success of these games, and to encourage, as Leann said, we're still looking for sponsorship. Anybody that wants to get behind the games, we'd like to be able to leave a legacy of not only well-trained, community-spirited volunteers, but a legacy towards other, venues in sport in our community.
Oh, very good.
And I would love to do a little plug. Come volunteer. We've got so many opportunities, so many fun things to do, and we can fit any need. If you only have 4 hours, or if you've got the next 2 months, anything that you want to do, we've got a space for you. So please jump in and volunteer.
Yeah. And again, where can people learn more information if they need to?
On the website, so the 55 Plus Games, and go into Nanaimo's event, and you'll find everything right there.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for asking us. It was a great opportunity.
Diana Johnstone is president of the Nanaimo 2025 55 Plus BC Games Host Society, and Leann Rose Crook is director of participant and volunteer services for the Games, which take place September 9th through 13th. For those interested in volunteering beyond the Nanaimo edition of the Games, the BC Senior Games Society, which works to put on the event year after year across BC, is taking applications for select board positions. The deadline is Friday, July 18th at 4 p.m., and you can find more information at 55plusbcgames.org. And that's our show for today. Thanks for joining me. I'm Jesse Woodward, executive producer for Midcoast Morning, filling in for Joe Pugh. Arby Frew is our technical advisor. You can sign up for CHLY's newsletter at chly.ca/subscribe. You can also get the show as a podcast through Apple Podcasts or through other podcast providers. If you have a story you think we should cover, email us at news@chly.ca. Our theme song is First One by local Nanaimo band Waste Management. Find them on Bandcamp and consider buying their music. That's all for now. I'll talk to you on another edition of Midcoast Morning.
Midcoast Morning would not be possible without the funding of the Community Radio Fund of Canada's Radio Meters program and generous listeners like you. Support our news, current affairs, and arts and cultural programming through our nonprofit newsroom project today by making a monthly sustaining donation at chly.ca/donate. Finally, this program gives thanks to the Nanaimo First Nation as we broadcast and podcast from their traditional territory. Thanks for listening.